Hello and welcome to this video for Blackboard Learn. Today we're going to take a look at discussion boards within Blackboard. Now, a discussion board is a fantastic communication tool that can be utilized within your course for synchronous, asynchronous conversation inside or outside of the class. So one of the things that I like to point out is that the discussion board is one of the top used communication tools within Blackboard at CSU-Pueblo. The only one that trumps it is sending email. So the discussion board is already a very active tool in our system. So let's go ahead and take a look at what people have already been doing within the discussion board of Blackboard. So I'm already at the discussion board, but we need to go in and show you how you get here. So if you go down to your menu to course tools over here in your course management menu, you can click on discussion board. Here we are in the discussion board. Now, we don't have anything in it at this point. We need to add a forum so that students can start adding to that forum. So the way that we'll do that, click on Create Forum button, and now we are in our forum creation area. The very first thing you want to do is give it a name. I'm going to just say topic at this stage. So you want it to be pretty descriptive so students can differentiate between the different forums you might have. Now next is your description, a very, very important area within a Blackboard discussion communication tool. And the reason it's so important is that you need to be very descriptive of your expectations of the students here. So not only do you have to tell them to use good grammar, to use complete sentences, how many paragraphs you might want them to use, not to plagiarize, but you also want to give them a little bit more information as to what you would expect them to tell you within this discussion board. You don't want them to have one-word answers. You want them to have constructive feedback of other students' threads, other students' discussions, and be very, very descriptive of what you like here. Now, you do want to also be concise, so bullet points work well. That way students can kind of follow by, oh, I got that one, but not this one. That's just my little soapbox on being descriptive in the discussion forum description area. I speak from experience. If you're not descriptive, you're going to get a lot of results that you're not really expecting. So going on, you have the ability to set your forum availability, and next you have your forum settings category. Now within forum settings there's a lot of options to look at right here, and we can go one by one through these options to talk about them briefly. So the very first thing is standard view. It's just going to be the whole discussion board can see everything. If you decide to go with this second radio button, participants are going to have to add a thread into your discussion forum before they can even participate in other thread. Next you have your grading. You have the ability to just not grade the forum, or you could grade the discussion forum by adding in some sort of value here. You can even add how many posts are done before the needs grading is prompted in your grade center. So you have this whole list of up to 50 posts that you can grade by. So now I have it set so every one post is going to put an exclamation point in my grade center. And you can also associate a due date with this particular forum. Now one other thing you can do is you can add threads into your forum, and so you would be the one that would be setting up those threads, and as you set up those threads you could say that you're going to grade those individual threads. But no, what that does is it allows students to not add threads into this forum. So you don't want to select that one unless you're trying to grade specific threads. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it on grade discussion forum every one post at this stage. You can also associate rubrics with this particular grading forum, which is very helpful in writing scenarios. So you can just click and give them a score based off of what you've read. I'm not going to associate with one right now. You can look at our rubrics tutorial if you're into doing rubrics. Next, your subscription settings. I don't need to go through these individually. You can kind of get an idea as to what that means. Next, we do have our create and edit modes. So at this stage, since we are going to be grading these discussions, we're not going to allow any kind of anonymous posts. So you can allow your author to delete posts of their own. Sometimes you might want to just do it to where it's only posts with no replies. That way if somebody puts something in there and they reply to it, you're able to have some sort of record of that reply, and you can't just tank out somebody's reply if you're basing it off of how many replies or how many posts they have in a forum. You can allow the author to edit their own published post. You can allow them to create new threads in that area, so that is something that you would want to select if you want them to add even threads into this forum. Otherwise you're going to have to populate those threads. The allowing of file attachments, the ability for users to quote other users. If you would like to force moderation on those posts so that you have to read it prior to it going to the discussion board, you can do that. I am not going to select that option now. And then finally you have the ability to tag posts, tags as in putting keywords that let you associate with those particular posts. And then you can also allow members to rate posts. So you'll have a 5-star rating system. You can't rate your own, but you can rate everyone else's post in the discussion forum. I'll go ahead and click that checkbox on, and now I'm going to hit submit. So guess what? We just added a discussion board to our Blackboard course. So now as a student, if you got into your discussion board, you would see that you have one forum that is called Topic. So if you click on the word Topic, you're going to get into the particular forum, and now you can start adding your threads. So as a student, I'm just going to click this edit mode off temporarily, give you kind of an idea as to what a student might see. Now a student would not obviously see grade discussion forum, but they would see subscribe and they would see create thread. So as a student, you might click thread and you're adding in your information. So this is your subtopic, and I gotta put a B in there, huh? And then a little bit lower on the page is their message. So this is the content that they're going to be looking at your description and making sure that they're covering all those areas that you're requiring that they add into this discussion board. So I am going to be generic, put descript in there, and then I didn't even put a P, so I pronounced it, I'll put descript. There we go. Alright, and now under attachments you can add a file if you maybe had some documentation you were trying to pass on, or a picture that needed to take a look at. You know, various things can be posted there. So now once I hit submit, there I have a discussion thread. So as people add threads, so I'm just going to throw another one in there, and I'm just going to slap the keyboard on this guy, hit submit. You now have 2 threads in there. You kind of get the idea how that these threads are just going to stack on there. You can sort by date, you can sort by author, you can sort by various areas on here, and that's just by clicking the particular thing you'd like to sort by. So I'm going to just keep it on date for now so I know who was in there or who was not in there. And as you click on the thread itself, so if I click on subtopic, it's going to bring up this little area at the top. Now this area at the top is the description, or it's the area that somebody submitted their thread. So it's all the main topic that you're going to be discussing. Now once you hit reply, it's going to throw a reply right underneath that particular discussion thread. And you can go ahead and put in your reply. We'll hit submit. And you're going to notice now, right underneath that initial thread is your first reply. So as you see these happen, they're just going to stack right underneath there. So I'm going to hit reply a second time. And I'm going to go ahead and slap the keyboard and hit submit, and now I have another reply. Now what you're going to notice is that each of these responses is going to be somewhat separated from each other, so you can really differentiate between the replies. Now let's say I reply to a reply. So if I hit reply here, slap the keyboard again and hit submit, you're going to notice that it somewhat indents that reply. So what's really neat here is you can see these threaded conversations happening and really keep track of where you're at in the discussion board. So one other little thing I'm going to point out before we jump into how to grade these discussion forums is you can collect certain messages that you might want to read off into a different area. Let's say you like this particular post, you didn't like this discussion, maybe you did like this reply, and you did not like that reply. What you can do is you can go to Message Actions, click on the Collect button, and what it's going to do, it's going to go take those particular posts and it's going to put it into a collection mode. You can print those particular collections if you want to have a hard copy of it, or you can just read through all these posts that you have catered and collected and put into this area, so you're not having to kind of trounce through all the other posts that are in there. These are the ones that are important to you. This can also help if you're doing some grading, but there is a better way to grade if you're going to go that route. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK to get out of there. And so that's going to conclude this tutorial on how to set up a discussion board within Blackboard.